Welcome back to the Big Gay Overalls podcast. I'm your host, Lisa Kirkman, and it's been a hot minute. I have not recorded an episode since June. Terrible. Missed our first birthday. Terrible. And it's not that I haven't wanted to record, but sometimes I was like, I didn't know what I wanted to say or how I wanted to say it or what I wanted to talk about. And it was kind of in this weird space where it's like, I didn't want to put something out just for the sake of it. And then I didn't want to put something like not out and, you've got to have the content going all the time and yada, yada, yada. And plus, I've had life stuff I'm, responsible, not responsible for, but basically my mother's primary carer along with my wife. And, her Alzheimer's has progressed a bit. So there's been a bit with that. She lives 45 minutes away from us and she's needed a bit more care and stuff, even if she won't admit to that. So there's that joy. The dog, Charlie, who I share with my ex-husband, she had an ACL repair at the start of September. So that's required me being there a whole lot, spending nights, which is still weird. Like, I'm staying in that house that I bought and lived in for, 15 or so years before I left, and then you're back into it. And, being around my mother too much is terrible for my mental health. I'm going to be honest about that. So just been kind of trying to manage energy, and also, excitingly, but adding something else into the mix is I have been accepted into a pathway to becoming a teaching professional golfer, which is cool, very exciting. So I kick off the first phase in January, and basically I've had since July till next July, so 12 months to get myself to the point where I meet the playing standard. So that's super cool, but it's a lot of work. So I'm working with my coach doing that. So I've got all those kind of things. And I got some new eyes last week, which I really like. When I got my other glasses, exactly the same frames these are, but they're like a clearer thing. And I felt like the other ones, as my face shape changed over the last year, they just, I don't know. I didn't love them as much as the first day I got them. But now, I love these, and I've had them less than a week, so that's cool. I've also been busy trying to still pursue the company that I used to work for in the US for back pay. That's an ongoing battle, which kind of sucks you will to live at time because they don't respond, they don't reply. They just turn out to be not very good humans, and it's frustrating knowing that there's a significant amount of money owed and there's not much I can do about it to pursue it at this point in time, which they know that. So that's the painful, icky bit. So anywho, that's my part of my life update, I guess, in a nutshell. Still, Sharon and I are still living our best lives and doing all the things that we love to do and supporting each other. And, she's crushing golf. She's completely addicted to it, and she's out there every opportunity. And if we don't have an opportunity, she's very sad, but she's crushing it. And that brings me immense joy to see her embrace it and learn and grow and embrace the challenge. So that is super, super cool. She's crushing her counselling work at the moment and loving that. So we're kind of thriving in our own space, and it's kind of like, well, we've just been doing this thing and we're just doing life. And then all of a sudden, 1 week turns to 2, turns 3. Suddenly I'm 4 months down and not done a podcast. I'm like, oh. And, people ask for it, I was having a conversation today with my very good international friend, JD Danner, who is one of the hosts of the Rainbow Remix podcast. And she's like, your message is so important and so valuable. And, you still need to put it out there. And so then I was sitting on the couch and I was like, that's it. I'm going to go and record something. So I don't know what today's going to be, but I'm just going to record it. Burn the Script has been going along, poking along, doing its thing. I had a very exciting opportunity a couple of weeks ago where I did a author talk kind of thing at a local art gallery here. There was about 30, 40 people there, which was cool, and not my usual demographic, but the message about, you can choose whatever path you want at whatever age you want. It doesn't have to be whole upending coming out late in life. It could be, small change about, I'm just going to say no when I feel like I should say yes. That messaging, really did resonate. So that was pretty cool. That was fun. And I've got another one this week and hopefully at the local library doing an author talk. So that'll be kind of cute. So it has been a while. For those of you that have missed the podcast and have reached out to me, thank you. That means a lot. It's just kind of, time flies, man. Like, time just fucking flies. And I was thinking about, like, what did I have to say? Like, what was the pause about? And I think, because I kind of got stuck as like, well, I feel like I've talked about my coming out story and coming out late in life. And I don't want to keep repeating and rehashing and if I don't have anything to say that's going to add value, then I don't want to say it. So that's Lisa in her own head. But it's this after part. And I don't even know if it's an after part because, like, when you come out, it doesn't matter what age, there's not really an after because it's just a continuing evolving process I've found, or I think. And I could be wrong with that. But from my perception, it's just, everyone, like, when you talk about coming out, everyone focuses on the reveal, like, I'm gay, and how you feel that relief and the freedom at that moment and feeling brave. And, those moments are incredibly real and incredibly valid and incredibly important because that's kind of like the start. That's the spark that sets everything alight. But no one really tells you what happens after. It's just like, okay, now we're business as usual. This is your life. This is you. But it comes in waves, in weird things that happen. Like once that initial nervousness and excitement and anticipation and the newness kind of fades and, people maybe stop reaching out or, that's just who you are now. And you start living the life that you fought so hard for. And even if that battle's internal, you fought so hard for that. But then, so you're living that life and you're just toddling along and then you go, oh, there's still so much to unpack here. Like there's a lot. And that's kind of the space I've kind of felt myself sitting in, whether consciously, subconsciously, whatever. It's not dramatic. It's not glamorous. It's not a crisis. It's just life. It's just every day. And I think a lot of us get to that point, like when we, coming out, it's like, well, kind of what is the next thing? And as I've talked about before on the podcast, coming out is not a one and done process. Like I almost feel like we come out a million times a day, every day. It's just in different ways, for different reasons, for different things. Like I just feel like that is that constant evolution. So my take is that, coming out isn't just a single event, like a da-da, there you are. It's a series of events or moments where you keep meeting yourself over and over again, and you almost have to reintroduce yourself to yourself every single time. And sometimes it can hit really hard, I guess, or be confronting when you realize that you've built a whole life around who you thought you were supposed to be. Remember ticking those boxes, doing the thing. And now you've gone through all those boxes and you've got to figure out what's worth keeping, what's not, and who am I without all this extra noise and these expectations, and no one's now telling me what I can be. I can be anything. And that's challenging. It's tricky. You're going through old friendships and relationships that don't fit anymore. And now some people will self-select out because gradually the communication will drop and you'll realize that, oh, I'm not really in your circle, so then you're not really in my circle. But hey, I still want the best for you. It doesn't have to be ending in a big ball of flames. It's for those of you who have to go through that whole dating relationship thing. I guess I was lucky and blessed that I didn't have to navigate too much of that space. But if you kind of missed all of that in your earlier life, because you're doing the heteronormative stuff, it's very different from, and again, not speaking from much lived experience, but speaking from, the stories I've seen and what I see people posting, like it's different dating later in life in the lesbian world. It's just harder. And sometimes because you have less tolerance for bullshit, you know who you are, you know what you want. So it's easy to filter out the stuff, but there's still, people who waste your time in that, and it's also trying to figure out your frame of reference for life to get your orientation, like which way's forward, because we don't have those queer references and landmark points to our life or experiences that others have had that might have been out, since they were quite young. And sometimes you can feel a bit like a guest or a tourist in a world that is yours, but you don't feel like it is, and you kind of like, where do I fit? So that whole struggle to, where do I fit? What's my identity? And there's so many labels, which I talked about in a couple of other episodes about, we're very quick to label people, like whether it be masc or femme or soft or dyke or whatever. Like, I want to be just me, but it's very hard. Like, I like to get my hair cut short, so people go, you must be masc. Well, not necessarily. I'm not sticking a pin in that. Like, that's it. And some days in this whole evolution of who we are and the journey we're on, it's quiet. And that's not a bad quiet. It's not like bad things are happening. It's just different. Like, for me, it's like, okay, I'm very out. I'm married. I'm living authentically. Now what? What am I? Because you're still looking for those boxes to tick and those things to do. Like, I should be achieving this, or I should be achieving that, or this sort of life looks like that. And I guess for me, that now what is kind of where I've been, because I'm like, well, I've got some podcasts, I've written some books, I help some clients, working on my golf. But what's the one thing that I'm supposed to do or be? And when we talk about coming out, particularly coming out late in life, like, it isn't about having that one single moment of courage. It's having gazillions of them over and over and over again, and showing up for yourself every single day. And it's redefining your values and learning how to live, like, day after day as someone you weren't allowed to for decades. Someone that you denied, you pushed away, didn't exist for decades. And now you can take the lid off that jar, and that's who you can be. But you're like, I don't know how to be that. Should I? So, just random brain ramblings. So, here's what I know for me on my journey, is that coming out gives you freedom. Gave me huge freedom, because I didn't have to hide anymore. There were no secrets. Like, everyone knew. And I could be free to express love in the way that I wanted to. But I was also even more powerfully free to receive love. And that it was okay for me to dictate, I guess, what that looked like, or create boundaries about what I found to be acceptable and what I wanted to. And the hard work, though, is building a life around that fits. And that takes time. And we get really impatient, because it's like, well, I've come out. What next? And, I guess that moment is, like I said, that's like the spark that starts the fire. And, that whole process then takes time, because the person you were before you came out didn't just turn into that person overnight. It's years of conditioning and messaging and, all of that sort of stuff. So, of course, it's going to take time to undo that and accept and live and be comfortable in this new skin that you've got. You really have to rebuild your identity. And that's a beautiful thing, that you get to create and rebuild your identity, your values, your perceptions, your beliefs, who you are, how you want to, move through this world. That's exciting. But it's also, we've got to flick our mind from thinking that, our pre-life was about survival and not getting found out and just wanting to assimilate and fit in. But now we have choice and we get to choose. We get to choose who's in our circle, who's not. We get to choose the direction that we want to be, and that our choice is completely up to us. So if you want to get your hair cut short, get it cut short. If you don't, that's fine too. And you have to learn how to be comfortable with joy, like genuine, deep in your soul, in your bones, joy. And it can feel weird when you've lived for years under suppression and it's like, oh, insert laugh here. Because you never really let yourself feel that joy in case the facade cracks and falls away and people see. And it's a constant reminder that you're allowed to grow into this. You don't have to have all the answers, and that you're allowed to create this identity. Because when we're born and we're discovering, we grow up, we become toddlers and teenagers, and we're, creating our identity in the world. No one questions that. That takes time, and that's cool. That's what you're supposed to do. Well, guess what? We get to do it at this age, and it's fucking amazing. But it's scary as fuck as well. And we don't have to have it all figured out, because thinking about it, I'm 4.5-year-old Lisa, essentially. So I shouldn't have shit figured out. Yes, I'm walking around in an adult shape and doing adult things, but I still don't have to have it all figured out because I'm just learning. I'm just new at this. And like I said at the start, there's these waves. Some days I feel grounded and in control and assertive and I know what I'm doing and I'm nailing it. And then other days I'm like, fuck, I'm way behind. I don't know which end is up. I don't know my left arm from my right elbow, and it's fucking confusing. And that's okay. I need to give myself permission at times to go, yeah, that's okay. So I don't know if this gives anyone any clarity or makes any sense to anyone. I'm just talking about my perspective and things that I've kind of been rambling on. And again, I would ramble on this and go, oh, well, I don't think I'll record on this. No one wants to hear about that. And ultimately, that's, when I started the podcast, I was not going to edit and self-edit and filter. That's kind of what I've started to do. And I never wanted to put out content for the sake of content going out there and giving people what they want to hear. I want to talk about things that related to me and my journey. So that's what I did. So I need to get back to that. So if this doesn't make any sense to you, cool. That's great. And that's okay. I'm just going to talk through sort of where I'm at. So yeah, it's been a while since I recorded. And this part of the stuff feels like it's harder to talk about, not because it's a difficult, sensitive subject, but just because it's hard to frame words and context around it. I am incredibly grateful for the life I have and for my amazing, beautiful wife and, the people who surround me. And I'm incredibly grateful for the opportunities that I have. So that's not the I'm not bitching and moaning saying this life is so difficult, hands in the air. That's not it. It's because it matters. And I feel like no one else is really talking about this bit because it's always about the coming out and them just doing the thing and going to Pride and all those things are fantastic, but it's that whole identity piece that I think is really, the sticky bit. And for a lot of us, and I'll 2 hands up for me, the real journey isn't the coming out, and spoiler alert, you think it is, but it's not. It's the becoming that happens after that. You're like, oh, this is what it's really about. I've just basically coming out. You've literally opened the closet, stepped out. And now, where do I go? What do I do? That's the part. That's the work. It's exciting. It's scary as fuck. It's challenging. It's fun. It's crazy. It's amazing. It's awesome. Any word you can think of, throw it at the wall, because that's what this is. So if you are listening to this and you're kind of in that evolving space or in between space and wondering, is it supposed to feel like this? Then, you know, you are 100% not alone, because I guarantee you I'm not the only one feeling like this. And there are many more people out there who feel a different, 50 different variations of this, but along the same sort of lines. And, this is the work. And I know I talk about, doing the work. And if we didn't do the initial work, we couldn't have come out. And that's a very big piece of that puzzle. Huge. But, this is now where the real work is. So imagine, and I love to talk in analogies and stories. Those of you who've listened to this long enough will know that. Think about it as a garden. So when you're building a garden bed, that's hard work. You got to, clear the bit of ground you want to put it on, put the new soil in, dig it up, blah, 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 mulch it. I'm not a gardener, so I don't even know why I use that as a description. And then you plant some seeds. Now that's where the real work is, because you've got to nurture them. You've got to, tend to them, check on them, make sure that their environment is optimal for growth. So you might fertilize them, or you might, water them every day. You might keep pests away. That's pretty much what this journey is. That's the hard work, is the nurturing. And sometimes things don't go good. They don't take off the way that they should. They don't turn out to be amazing blooms like you thought they would be. But that's okay, because we try again. And this is the work. This is the growth. This is life. Well, I say 2.0, but I think I'm probably up to Lisa 8.0 now, maybe. And that's okay. And they've all been, like a snake shedding its skin. It's all been newer, better versions as we go. Even if it's like 1%, 0.5%, 0.01%, it's still, forward. I don't feel like I've moved backward at any point, which is good. And, I think today's been good, because I'm sitting here now and in my brain I'm going, oh, yes, I've missed this space, and I've missed this to talk about this. And so I want to do this again, and I will, and I'm back. Yay. I've definitely got more to say. Not preaching at you from the mountaintop. That's not my jam. But, from this messy, honest middle. And I'm still going to circle back and talk about some of the early stuff, because I know that, people who listen to this are in all stages. And please reach out to me if there's something about my journey you want to know more on, from either a previous episode where you feel like I've just touched on something, or something that would be more interesting. Please reach out. You can shoot me a DM. You can email me, lisa@biggayoverallspodcast.com. You can connect with me on TikTok. You can connect with me on Insta. Just reach out. That would be great, because I really want this show, fuck, what a wanker, this podcast to be relevant and to add value to your journey. Because I was talking to somebody the other day, I can't remember who it was now, talking about why I started the podcast, which is what's got my brain ticking over again. Because it can be a daunting space to be in when you think you're the only one and you don't know answers, and you go into the groups, and there's 1,000 groups for late in life lesbians, and sometimes it feels like everyone's just looking to hook up, or it feels like everyone's further down the track than you. I know there are a lot of people who sit in those groups that are still in that haven't come out phase, still questioning and going, should I even be here? So I want to talk to everyone and add value to that. So please, and I've lived in that space. So, drop me a line, shoot me a message. I do have the Embracing My Big Gay Overalls Facebook page still. It's very, very tiny. So if you'd like to join in that, please come on over. We'd love to have you. And if you're in Australia, I've just started being the admin for the Rainbow Women Coming Out Late in Life Facebook group as well. So if you're in Australia, that's for Australians only. Reach out and I can connect you in that group. There's a lot more people in that, and we're just trying to revitalise it and get it humming and getting a bit of conversation to really help people. That was actually the very first group that I came across. So when they put a shout out looking for a new admin, I was like, yeah, I don't want to see this group fizzle and die. So Yeah, you can reach out to me on all of the platforms. Please, I would love to hear from you if you have anything that you'd like. But I can't promise you it's going to be weekly, but I am going to promise you I'm back. Because I've actually just enjoyed this right now, doing this very second. So I'm going to download this. I'm going to edit it as much as I edit, which is not much. And I'm going to get it up there. And hey, 1 year. Because we started it, I think I started this in July last year. So technically I made it a year before I went on a little break. So maybe it's a mid-season break. I don't know. But I'm grateful for everyone that's ever listened, who's followed. Let's, keep it rolling. Let's keep the conversations going. And I'll chat to you on the next one. Take it easy, guys.